Now let's bring in President Trump's White House Chief of Staff from his first administration, Reince Priebus, and ABC News contributor and former Progressive Senate candidate Cristina Tzintzun Ramirez. Thank you both for joining us. Reince, let's start with you. What did you think of the president's speech tonight?
Well, I thought it was extremely strong. And when he talked about, he said, common sense revolution, giving the government back to the people, that the government works for the people don't work for the government. I thought was really insightful into the mindset of the president when he said that he was saved by God to make America great again. And I really thought when I heard that really explains this blitzkrieg mission that he's been on over the last several weeks as president. I also thought that the Democrats found themselves again, and you and Jonathan and the panel talked about this, but the Democrats found themselves again standing in the 25% on these issues. I mean, they couldn't stand up for, just taking these notes, they couldn't stand up for no tax on tips. They couldn't stand up for no tax on American cars. They couldn't stand up for no taxes on Social Security. They couldn't stand up for Russian prisoners being brought back to the United States. They couldn't stand up for record low border crossings. And they couldn't stand up for no boys and girls sports, even though half the women were wearing pink. I mean, it's just like, it's almost as if they don't get it. Now, I will say the senator from Michigan did a good job of laying out the things that we can agree on: a strong middle class, a strong defense, that democracy is still worth fighting for. I mean, she lost it when she tried to defend the Democrats' actions on the border. She lost it when she started trying to claim the president, Trump, is trying to raid Social Security. But again, the Democrats can't find their footing. And it was very clear tonight that the president was taking a victory lap. He was pounding the Democrats into the ground. I think they embarrassed themselves out of the gate with walkouts and disorganized protests, and Al Green made a fool of himself as well. So again, it's just more of the same from the Democrats. They just can't seem to get their act together.
Cristina, your response to Reince on that? Did you feel that the Democrats didn't have a cohesive strategy tonight?
No, what I feel is that nearly every single Republican that has come on this show and responded sounds like a cult follower, because the Republican Party has become the cult of Donald Trump, and they're unwilling to stand up on the issues that Americans truly care about, or stand up to Donald Trump when he is wrong, when he goes against the interests of the American people. Look, Donald Trump was elected to address one major issue for the American people: their deep economic pain. He barely talked about the economy. There are rising costs of inflation. Half of Americans can barely afford their rent, and now tariffs are coming into play. And I'll tell you what, one thing Donald Trump and Elon Musk have no idea what it's like when an average American is looking at, am I going to afford my rent, or am I going to afford my groceries? So when he says there's going to be a little more pain for American farmers, for American consumers, for what? The American people are broken. They deserve a government, a president that understands their economic pain and responds to it. And you didn't hear anything about that. And that's also why you heard him talk about Elon Musk saving American taxpayers' money. Well, Doge, of course, has helped shutter the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that saved $20 billion for American consumers. And Elon Musk and Doge have falsely reported by billions of dollars the supposed money they've saved the American people. Well, if Elon Musk wants to save the American people some money, he should return the $38 billion that he has received for his companies, feeding and leeching off of the American people and government for his own profit and benefit. That's where we can actually see some real cost savings, much more than anything he's come near saving for the American people in Doge.
Reince, want to just give you 30 seconds. She said you sound like a cult follower.
Well, her answers are too complicated. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're $36 trillion in debt.
Is it too complicated for Americans to have to decide between rent and groceries?
Care
That's not
about whether the CFPB is what their funding is and what taxpayer money it saves. We're going broke in this country, and people have had it with a bloated, out of control Washington, D.C. And
what about Elon Musk having $38 billion from the federal government? Is that not bloated?
Okay, fine, just keep going.
From the American people? That's
all right,
like,
Cristina, let's just let Reince continue.
That's okay. It's fine. I mean, this is what This is why the Democrats can't win, because they're unhinged. Their arguments are wildly complicated. And the fact of the matter is, he was elected for simple things, and every single thing that President Trump is doing right now, whether you like him or hate him, every single thing he's doing, he campaigned on. He said he was going to do it. Even all the things you hate, he laid it out. He was elected, and the Democrats are flat-footed, and they've got no answers.
Cristina, give you the final word here tonight.
Donald Trump was elected to address the economy. It's getting worse. The stock market is falling. Consumer prices are going up. Inflation is rising. That is economic pain. That's not complicated. And maybe it's complicated to you, but is it rent? Is it groceries? Is it gas for the American people? And ultimately, that is what has to be answered, because this deep economic pain is not going away for the American people. And ultimately, I think that's why you see Republicans telling senators and congressmen, don't go home and meet the voters that you should be accountable to, because right now they're angry at DOGE and gutting of the VA, gutting of possibly Social Security, of Elon Musk calling Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme. Ultimately, Americans will decide who has power in 2026, and it'll be the failure to address their economic pain and instead serve the top 1% instead of the majority of Americans that will make Republicans lose in 2026.
Cristina Tzintzun Ramirez, Reince Priebus, we thank you both so much for the academic debate tonight so that we can have these conversations and Americans can ultimately decide. Thank you both so much.